What up, Cox? It's the Hater here with your weekly AEW Dynamite review. Now, before we get started, as usual, we're going to do a few subscriber shout-outs. First up, we have new subscriber, Kevin Jarman. It's either Kevin or Kavan. I don't know. What up, Kavan? His avatar is Spider-Man, which I dig. And, of course, we have Rock Boy, who is also a new subscriber. Welcome, Rock Boy, with your guitar avatar. I like that. Now, before we begin with the review here, I just want to say a couple of things. Earlier today, I recorded a video that's going to be about Val Venus and Nyla Rose. Now, that video is scheduled to upload tonight at 11 p.m., motherfucks. That's right. 11 p.m. scheduled upload. So, by the time this video is uploaded, it should be probably around the same time, honestly, because I'm starting this right after AEW ended. It's going to take me probably 20, 30 minutes to make this video, and then it's going to have to upload itself. So, yeah, keep that in mind. So, watch this video first, but don't forget to watch the Val Venus Nyla Rose video, because it's thus far my favorite video of all time. Now, this video might be better, who knows? But the one that I did on Val Venus and Nyla Rose is awesome. I like it a lot. So, and as I say at the beginning of that video, if there's any video of the haters that you plan on sharing or subscribing for, that's the one. Which brings me to my next point, which is if you are watching this, and I know a lot of you that watch this are not subscribed, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you can subscribe today and get yourself a shout out. You understand what I'm saying? I'll give you guys 5 seconds or so to do that, starting now. While I cough. All right, that should have been enough time to hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, do it now. All right, now it's time to talk about this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. Some of the things I'm going to say here are going to contradict a little bit what I say in the Nyla Rose Val Venus video for a couple of reasons. But I will say this. That video still takes precedence. Everything I said there is probably the truth. Now, the first match we had was a tag team battle royal. There was about 20,000 teams in this match. The match had too many jobber teams. And honestly, if you're going to have a match like this, what's the point of the tag rankings, right? If you're the number one ranked tag team, which was the Young Bucks, I think, right? Why would you even participate in this match? Why wouldn't you say, wait a second, you mean to tell me that if Hybrid 2 and Helico and Jack Evans win this match, they supersede me, the number one ranked tag team, and get a title shot at the pay-per-view? I don't like that. That's what you would say, right? But for some reason, AEW seems to not understand the fact that you can either have a ranking system or you can have a situation where you can do matches like this, right? This is why WWE and TNA and every other wrestling promotion does not have ranking systems, right? Imagine if, we're going to determine the next contender to the UFC middleweight belt, let's say, right? There's a guy who's ranked number 1 and a guy who's ranked number 2 and a guy who's ranked number 3. Now imagine if you do a battle royal with them and you put in guy ranked number 20 and he wins. He gets a title shot? Nobody would buy that, right? That doesn't make any sense. So you have to treat it seriously and you got to get rid of that ranking system. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I think everyone ignores it anyways, but, it is what it is, right? So, a couple of highlights here. At a certain point, the Dark Order speaker, the guy who does the little vignettes, comes out and distracts SCU, which allows them to get eliminated by the Dark Order jobbers, John Silver and Alex Reynolds, I believe their names are. Which begs the question, why the hell weren't the real Dark Order in this match? You know what I mean? You would expect the Dark Order to be in this match. They are, after all, one of the top teams, you know what I mean? So there you have it. They weren't in the match. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, obviously I don't care, but you know what I mean. They should have been in the match. Then the Dark Order jobbers get eliminated by the Young Bucks with 2 super kicks. A few more teams get eliminated. This was complete garbage. Butcher and Luchasaurus have a brawl, but it's shit. It's just a shit brawl. The end of the brawl is Luchasaurus does a kick, and Butch no-sells it and hits a clothesline, which he botches completely. So there you go. There you have it, right? The Best Friends tried to hug in the middle of the match, and Chuck Taylor is eliminated while Orange Cassidy saves Trent, right? Now, here's the thing, right? You shouldn't be doing taunts in the middle of matches. That's just stupid. I've been saying this for weeks now, right? However, if you're going to do a taunt, the only logical thing to do is to eliminate or beat someone while they do a taunt, right? To kind of say that you should be doing taunts, right? Now, the negative outweighs the positive here. The positive being that at least one of the Chuck Taylor got eliminated, right, while doing the taunt. The negative is, why are you doing taunts? Do you not take this match seriously? Do you take your career seriously, right? No, you don't, motherfuckers. So because you're hugging in the middle of the ring. Long story short, one of the Jeff Hardy young buck is eliminated pretty early on, and the Matt Hardy young buck, who I think is also named Matt, he sticks around. In the end, it's him versus Out and Proud, right? And Sammy Guevara, who's on the outside. Sammy Guevara interferes, makes no difference. Out and Proud hit the street sweeper, makes no difference. The guy no-sells everything, eliminates both members of Out and Proud, and wins the match. Sole survivor. Young Bucks are the number one contenders, because the way this match worked was that you have to eliminate both people from the team, right? Which I kind of prefer. The match itself was just like a clusterfuck. I wasn't entertained at all personally, but it was different. I guess I give it some props because it was different. Then we had a horrible match called the Statlander Broad versus Shana, right? In this week's Who Gives a Rat's Ass match of the day, right? They touch each other's noses repeatedly, kind of like they're trading chops, except they just keep touching each other's noses, right? This was really stupid. I didn't like this at all. At one point, JR asks, probably like rhetorically, he asks, what's the deal with like the Statlander Broad? At which point Excalibur starts going down a list of how Statlander thinks she's from the Andromeda, she's from the Andromeda Galaxy and did some time in Area 51. And at which point JR says, okay, like that's enough, right? That was a good moment because JR's like, all right, this is too stupid. Like, even for wrestling, this is too stupid, right? And Excalibur's like, haha, you asked me, JR, which I thought was not good, but it just shows like how stupid the people that they sign are, like how dumb, like how much of a retard you have to be to think that this is a good gimmick, Because what happened was this: Statlander came up with this gimmick, right? Then she sent a tape in, or she knew someone that got her name to the right people, who then asked, "Oh, who's this Statlander broad that we're thinking about signing?" And someone said, "Well, you see, her gimmick is she's from the Andromeda Galaxy and did some time in Area 51." And then people like Cucky Rhodes were like, "Oh, wow, what a great gimmick. This will really go over well." And they signed her. So there you have it, I think that speaks volumes right there, motherfuckers. So anyways, at some point, JR has a little meltdown and explains or asks, why is it called a pie face? When you grab your open palm and you push someone's face, why is that called a pie face and not a cake face? I like cake, he declares, right? He declares, he eclairs. You understand me? So this was a complete, it was so stupid. He tried to play it off as oh, isn't this something you've all thought of at one point? Why is it called a pie face? Except the problem is no one gives a rat's ass, JR. Get over it. It's over, JR. Just stop. It's not that JR isn't a good commentator, because I believe that if you took JR and you said, hey, JR, we need you to be the announcer for John Cena's retirement match against The Undertaker, let's say, right? JR would put in an incredible JR performance. But you cannot expect that level of excitement from JR that he would have for something like Cena versus Taker, or let's say Michaels versus Taker, right? And have him have that same kind of excitement about Chris Statlander and Shana, right? No one cares, not even JR. JR doesn't know the name of this company or the wrestlers. I am waiting every weekend. I'm waiting for the day that JR doesn't say AEW and just says WWE, just says it once. You know what I mean? It's going to be something like this. He's going to be like, oh, if you like what Darby Allin's wearing, then go to shopwwe.com, right? And then no one's going to point it out because it's such an embarrassing gaffe, but it's going to happen. You heard it here first. It's going to happen, and it's going to be fantastic, right? It's going to be just great. So there you have it. After we're past that, man. Statlander wins by hitting the Big Bang Theory, which is a double cradle tombstone pile driver. For some reason, Britt Baker was on commentary this whole time, so I figured she might interfere or do something, but she didn't. It was just a waste of time. She was just there to continue to be relevant. But how about have a match, bitch? I don't give a fuck about your She brought Tony Schiavone a fucking Starbucks. It's getting stupid. Then they show a clip of Nyla winning the title, right? Then Tony Schiavone brings out Nyla for an interview. Now, I gotta be honest, I like Nyla Jax. Now, boom, don't be dissuaded, motherfuckers. The Val Venus versus Nyla video is not me liking Nyla Rose. It's me talking about other things like free speech. And it's an awesome video. You should check it out. Cooks! But I will say, Nyla Rose cut a pretty good promo. You know, I'll be honest. Like, the only thing that I didn't like, coincidentally, is the fact that her voice is kind of that of a man's. So it just kind of like reminds me that she is this, like, I mean, you know, I'm also reminded by looking at her, you understand what I'm saying? Because she looks like The Rock. She looks like I saw pictures, someone posted pictures of her as a dude in some Twitter thing, right? And, what's it called? I'm like, oh, fuck, what's The Rock doing here? It turns out it was Nyla Rose before her surgery. But she cut like a very good promo, you know what I'm saying? Like, she basically said, like, I break bitches, and it was just filled with hate and anger, and it felt genuine. It was good. Then Statlander Broad and Big Swole come out, right? At this point, I'm expecting like Awesome Kong to come out because she's actually great, and I actually would like to see Awesome Kong versus versus Nyla Rose. Only if Awesome Kong beats her. Like, I don't want to see Nyla Rose beat Awesome Kong, who's like, I think, one of the best female wrestlers ever. So there you have it. They come out, nothing comes of it. Complete waste of time. But I like the promo. Then we have Jeff Cobb versus Moxley, right? For some reason, Taz is now on commentary, right? They keep talking about how Jeff Cobb has a low center of gravity, which in my opinion is just a nice way to say that his body is shaped kind of like a chode. Now, for those of you that don't know what a chode is is a penis that is wider than it is long, right? So that's kind of like what Jeff Cobb looks like, a chode, you know? They should just call him Jeff Chode instead of Jeff Cobb to really get him over, you understand what I'm saying? The match was a complete bore fest, right? Like, Jeff Cobb is like Rhino, except like, this was just like a horrible debut because this guy had no like, you know, build up really. Like, they just introduced him last week and they just brought him out to lose to Jon Moxley. The match was garbage. Jon Moxley wins after Jeff Cobb does a superplex, and Jon Moxley, like after he takes the superplex, he just lifts his legs up and traps Jeff Cobb's legs and pins him, you know, after taking a superplex. Meanwhile, Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Jack Swagger come from the audience where they were sitting and attack him. Now, here's the problem with this. First of all, Jericho, Guevara, and Swagger had bought tickets to sit front row, right? Which is an old wrestling trope, so I'm not really mad at that. What I am mad at is the fact that, like, when they came out to sit down, they played Jericho's music. I don't know about you motherfucks, but when I go to a live show, nobody plays theme music for me, cucks. So that is just like a poor way to do it. You know, imagine if, like, every time, like, for example, when Eddie Guerrero won the title and Goldberg was in ringside, imagine if he played his music to introduce him. No, he was just there. Like, either you're part of the show or you're an audience member, right? You can't have both, man. Like, these people, they seem to not understand these simple things, right? The match was garbage. They attack him. Then the lights go off. So you're thinking to yourself, of course, what kind of star will come out, right? I actually wrote that in my notes. I wrote, what star will come out, ... I wrote this before the reveal because I knew that it was going to be like a nobody, right? And of course, it was Darby Allin with a skateboard. Darby Allin, who's about 130 pounds, comes in and beats the shit out of everyone with a skateboard, including Jeff Cobb, who eventually also takes a paradigm shift DDT. Then Ambrose and Y2J fight. Jericho escapes. Nothing was really furthered here. I don't really like it, if I'm being honest. It wasn't that good, motherfucks. Then we had Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus the Lucha Bros. Now, I will say, this match was pretty solid. You know, I enjoyed this match. I enjoyed this match primarily because Rey Fenix is great. Rey Fenix is legitimately a great wrestler, you know. This guy, he seldom botches, which is a biggie for your boy, right? And he has a lot of signature moves that pretty much only he does, right? Or moves that he does so much better than everyone else that they're almost like his moves. You know what I mean? Like, what's her face? Io Shirai in NXT does the 619, but Rey Mysterio does it better, you know? So he should just stop doing it, you know? Cesaro does a 619 pretty decently, but once again, Mysterio does it better. So they should stop doing it. But Rey Fenix did this springboard Hurricane Rana to the outside, where the person's on the apron, he runs to the ropes, jumps off the middle rope, and then jumps over the top rope. But he jumped so high that he was able to land, like without touching the guy with his arms, land into a Hurricane Rana position. It looked really nice. He also does that rope run kick thing that he does. I really like that too. He's Rey Fenix is tight. Pentagon is all right, except for the fact that he does the cero miedo like 17 times in a match. He needs to stop doing that. They also need a better theme. You know what I mean? Like, they're up there for top worst theme. Like, they're tied with SCU. I mean, let's be real. SCU, best of the best. SCU, better than the rest. SCU, we're from the West. It's like the rhymes that a third grader would come up with when they think they're going to be a rapper when they grow up. It's complete garbage, you know? But it's I don't know if it's worse or almost as bad as Lucha Bros, Mexican, Cero Miedo, once again. It's so stupid. It's garbage. But, yeah, the match was all right. The one spot that I didn't like was which is happening every fucking match they have. The spot where Kenny Omega is holding someone, Adam Page goes for the buckshot lariat, Kenny Omega ducks, and he hits the opponent ducks, and he hits Kenny Omega. Like, how many times do we have to see this? I mean, like, there has to be a limit to this spot, you know? Long story short, the match is pretty good. Eventually, Rey Fenix is left alone. Kenny Omega just knees him in the head, right, as he's coming off the rope, and he tries to do a move. Phoenix counters it. Blind tag by Adam Page. Kenny counters a move, and they hit the little sandwich buckshot lariat V-trigger move, which I actually thought was it's like a good-looking move. You know, it's not a good-looking move, but this time it was because it came out of nowhere. Like, they didn't set it up or anything. It just happened, which was good. Then the Young Bucks come out, right, and they try to help Kenny Omega up, right, which is weird because they came out. And JR is like, oh, the number one contenders are here. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Number one contenders, like, they're going to have like a stare down. No, they come in to help out Kenny Omega. Adam Page is justifiably upset. Like, why are you helping out my partner? We're opponents. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, you guys are friends, but like, I can help him out, right? We're partners. But Kenny Omega also is like, what the fuck is going on, right? And then like the Young Bucks are like, yeah, whatever. Adam Page leaves, drinks a beer. Yeah, it is what it is. So, yeah, up until this point, the show has been, like, it's been better than the last few weeks, but not by much. I mean, there weren't that many matches. You know, like, how many matches were there? We had the Tag Battle Royal, Shana versus What's-Her-Face versus Statlander Broad. Then we had Moxley versus Cobb. And we had this match. There was only 5 matches tonight because the next bitch was Cody versus Wardlow for the cage match. Now, as usual, I'd like to give credit where credit is due, cuz. Cody Rhodes, he did good in this match. And Wardlow, despite the fact that he hadn't wrestled yet, he actually wasn't a total piece of shit. That being said, the match was filled with garbage, right? There was a point where MJF dares or whatever, tells Arn Anderson to slam the cage in Cody Rhodes' head because the cage is open after Cody is slammed on it, on the door, and Cody's like draped over the ropes, so kind of his head is sticking out of the ring. And MJF is like, come on, Arn, do it. And Arn predictably slams the door on MJF instead. This was stupid. It was so cliched, it was dumb. Now, also, the fact that the door opened so easily kind of negates the whole cage match purpose. You know what I mean? Like Cody Rhodes said that you can't win by escape, right? You can only win by pinfall and supposedly submission. But it's like, if the cage door opens so easily, then you can just escape and run away, right? So there was no point if the cage door could open that easily. Like, that's just a stupid thing, right? So, long story short, Wardlow hits the F10. It was booked well because it didn't make Wardlow look weak, you know? Like, Wardlow hit the F10, which is like a standing F5. It's like a lazy man's F5, basically, right? He hit the F10, and he didn't pin Cody Rhodes, right? Presumably, that's his finisher. And the announcers were like, oh, he doesn't want to pin him because he wants to hurt him. And I'm like, all right, that makes sense. So now, if he loses the match, it's not that big of a deal because the argument can be, well, you could have pinned Cody after the F10, but, you know, his goal wasn't to win. His goal was to hurt him, right? But he fails at that goal because eventually, Cody Rhodes is like getting the upper hand. He low blows Wardlow after Wardlow low blows him, right? And then he puts the ring on his finger. I don't know if he punched him with the ring. If he didn't, that's really stupid, right? Because Wardlow has the ring that MJF wears, and he he was going to hit Cody with it, but Cody low blowed him, right? And then at this point, MJF starts climbing the cage from the corner, from the outside, right? Brandi Rhodes hits him with a chair in the back twice. MJF no-sells it, which is stupid. And he's like facing Brandi Rhodes. Arn Anderson throws him over the barricade. Meanwhile, inside the ring, Cody Rhodes hits the crossroads. Now, pause right here for a second. Number one, JR was saying, oh my God, was MJF going to hit Brandi? What a despicable thing. First of all, he didn't hit her, number one. So why are you asking yourself that question? Secondly, I don't believe you should hit women. Sometimes, even when they hit you, you shouldn't hit them just because of the strength differential. But let's be real. She hit him twice with a chair. You know, like, she hit him twice with she's a heel. She hit him twice with a chair while he was climbing a structure. Like, he could have, like, in real life, he could have gotten really hurt from that, right? So it's like, for JR to immediately take Brandi's side, even though she just attacked him, is fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that she's the face and he's the heel, and like, he shouldn't hit her maybe anyways. But the way that JR presented it was as if Brandi Rhodes was 100% justified in hitting this man with a chair, right? And this man, if he were to retaliate, it would be this like horrible faux pas, right? And I didn't like that because JR is the same guy that when this happens and the woman's a heel, he's like, oh, what a Jezebel. Oh, she's something that rhymes with witch and starts with a B, right? That kind of shit, right? But when it's like Brandi Rhodes, he's like, oh, how could MJF even be mad, right? I mean, like, if someone did this to the Dudley Boys, Devon would get the table and Bubba Ray would super bomb that broad through a table, right? So that's what I got to say about that. Meanwhile, in the ring, Cody Rhodes, after hitting the crossroads, goes for the pin. And like I said, pause here again. Because one of the announcers, he's like, will one be enough? Well, way to undersell the finisher, retard. Will one be enough? Now, I mean, I had a feeling he was going to kick out anyways. But now I knew after they said that, I'm like, all right, he's going to kick out because one is not going to be enough. Because they were obviously aware of what was going to happen. So what's his face? Wardlow kicks out at 2. Cody Rhodes climbs the cage and does a moonsault. He doesn't even hesitate. So I give him props. He didn't hesitate. He did the moonsault. Kind of landed on Wardlow, but you can't blame that on him. And pins Wardlow after like a super moonsault from the top of the cage. Then he climbs the cage and celebrates. That's the end of the show. Now, even though I just gave props to Cody Rhodes, I have to say that this show, even though better than the other weeks, it's still at most a 4 out of 10. Like, I would say it was better than Raw this week, you know, but not by much. I mean, it was a below average show from like what I expect, right? Like, if you grab your remote and you put it on WWE Network and you watch any Raw from the years 97 to 2002, all of those are better than this episode. All of them, right? So even though it's good for AEW, overall it wasn't good. The positive things were the furthering of the MJF-Cody feud, because one thing that I did like that they did was that they laid out what was going to happen, right? Like, here's the feud. It's going to be these two motherfuckers at the pay-per-view, basically. But here's what you're going to watch every couple of weeks. You're going to see, I mean, the cage match was all right. The lashings was the worst segment in history. So, but you knew what you were expecting, right? You're like, all right, now Cody's going to do this. Now Cody's going to do that. Now this is going to happen, you know? And kind of the same with Jericho and Moxley, you know? The fact that you knew that Moxley's going to go through pretty much every member of the, the inner circle, you know? There's still a couple of weeks. He's going to have a match with Sammy Guevara if he hasn't done that already. And he's going to have a match with Swagger. I think he already had one with Sammy Guevara. Could be wrong. So there you go, you know? I mean, let me tell it to you this way, right? The problem that I have, and it's a pretty big one, right? It's that Cody Rhodes, and I'm going to talk about this a lot in the video that's going to upload in about, 37 minutes. Cody Rhodes thinks himself to be better than he is. And I'm going to leave it at that so you can watch the other video and see exactly what I have to say about that. But he thinks of himself as a main eventer. And he looks down on people like Val Venus, right? And at some point today, Goldust came in and tried to beat up the whole Undisputed Era. And if Cody Rhodes is going to say what he said about Val Venus, more on that on the video, motherfucks. But basically he said that Val Venus, I got this from the J Rants video, he played a clip of it. He said that Val Venus is the Disco Inferno of WWE. Really? If Val Venus is the Disco Inferno of WWE, then what the fuck is Goldust? What the fuck is Goldust, who is below Val Venus in WWE? What is he, man? What is he? If you're so quick to say Val Venus is a jobber, then what the fuck is Goldust? Furthermore, what if Goldust is under Val Venus, then where the fuck is Stardust, motherfuckers? Where the fuck is Stardust? What kind of a jobber is he? But like I said, more on that in the next video. Check that out. Drops at 11 p.m. tonight, motherfuckers. So you got 26 minutes, which by my account means you won't be able to watch this video. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll push it to 11:30. No, it's going to be at 11. So watch this video, then watch the other one. It's going to be tight as fuck. All right, motherfuckers. Bitches.